The first boss in Edeon Ruins, Arbat Columbus, has been laid asunder, and now it's time for the final boss, Adlam Bruno. He will not as easily be defeated, but don't worry, I got you covered. After watching this video guide, your guild will understand this boss fight and be that much closer to having Adlam Bruno cereal every morning for breakfast. I don't know what that means. Before we get started, I would like to ask that you please subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell if you have not done so already. If you do this, you will be the first to see every time a new video of mine is released. Good day. Just like the previous boss, you will want to have your entire raid, including the ranged DPS, stack on the boss's backside while he is tanked in the center of the room facing away from the raid. You can avoid and mitigate damage from a lot of the mechanics in this fight just by stacking up, so this will be the case pretty much for the entire fight, and the reasons why will be made evident as you watch the mechanics. Might of Destruction is a cone-shaped cleave ability that will occasionally attack the tank. The raid will not have to worry about this if the boss is tanked facing away from the raid. Shortly after this, there will be a raid indication to stack together to share the damage from a boss attack. If your raid is already stacked, then this mechanic is one less thing that you have to worry about throughout the entire fight. Periodically throughout the fight, the boss will cast Seed of Lightning on random players in the raid. This is essentially just a living bomb, so if you get the Seed of Lightning, spread out so that your bomb does not detonate on anyone else. Unless, of course, you are tanking the boss. If you're tanking the boss and you get this living bomb, just stay in the middle of the room, but back up just a smidgen and let everyone know not to get too close to the boss until your living bomb has detonated. Use an HP potion if you have been afflicted by this Seed of Lightning and do not have full HP while you're outside the raid, because it does also damage you when it detonates. The boss will also cast an ability called Solar Corona, which will spawn large fire orbs in the center of the room and in other areas scattered throughout. You can actually tank one of these abilities with no problem at all, so long as you don't have an overlap from another one of the Solar Coronas and your healers are ready to use their AoE healing abilities as soon as it goes off. Just stay stacked up in the center of the room and take that one. The next part is very important. When the boss reaches 70%, he will randomly inflict 2 players in the raid with Fire Mark and Ice Mark. These players will have large red text appear above their characters' heads, and their characters will just about double in size so that everyone in the raid can see who has the mark. Shortly after, the boss will drop 2 massive meteors, 1 fire meteor and 1 ice meteor, in 2 different parts of the room. The 2 players who have been afflicted with these marks must stand underneath the meteor that corresponds to their mark and soak that meteor's damage alone. 1 meteor will spawn on the west side of the room and the other meteor will spawn on the east side of the room. If you get the mark, first read the prompt to know which meteor you need to absorb, and then look on the ground to see a colored circle, either a red circle or a blue circle, and run quickly to the color that your mark has indicated. If for whatever reason you cannot see the circle that is on the ground, you can also look into the sky to see where your meteor is falling. If the people with the mark fail to make it underneath their meteor in time, the entire raid will just get destroyed. The key to getting to your marks on time is to clear chat and make sure that the boss is in the center of the room when he is about to reach 70%. Calmly let the people in the raid watch their characters to see if they get the mark and grow, and let them get there themselves. If everyone in the raid is yelling at them and telling them where to go, they might get confused and just fail altogether. Also, if you are tanking the boss and you are given a mark, calmly tell the off tank to taunt the boss so that you can leave and soak your meteor. Now, depending on your raid's gear level, you can also just try ignoring the tank's meteor and just have Lightbringers rotate their ultimates to keep the raid alive. It's also a good thing that I made sure to bring my flash ability because it can really come in handy here too. The rest of the fight is pretty much going to be the same thing all the way up until you get the boss to 35%, at which point he will inflict 4 players with marks rather than just the 2 players like in the beginning of the fight. So again, in this portion of the fight, you are going from having 2 players with marks to 4 players with marks, and you're going from 2 fire and ice meteors to 4 fire and ice meteors. During this time, ensure that you are oriented and know where you are in the room before the meteors come out. The meteors are on different sides and are different colors every time. You just need everyone to know what to do and have them get to their meteors as quickly as possible. Again, I have found that the easiest way to handle this part of the fight is to look at the color circles on the ground and communicate where you're going as soon as you know that you have the mark. I would suggest indicating meteor drop locations for this portion of the fight like this. Have everyone face the north side of the room and mark the meteor drop locations L1 and L2 for left 1 and left 2, and R1 and R2 for right 1 and right 2. Read which mark you have, look on the ground for your colored circle, and call out which one you're going to as soon as you know, and have the other members fill in the rest of the spots as soon as they are able. To increase your chances of survival, just for safety, have all of your healers use their ultimate abilities during this phase just in case a meteor slips by and can't be soaked. If you manage to nail that part of the fight, there is only one more mechanic left that's actually pretty simple. The boss will engulf half of the room in fire and half of the room in ice. Every single person in the raid will be given a mark, and they have to go to the side of the room opposite to the color of their mark. This sounds confusing, but let me make it simple for you. Make sure that the boss is tanked in the center of the room. Read the final line of the text because it will tell you exactly where you need to go. If the boss is tanked in the center of the room, all you need to do is take a few short steps to either side to get into your designated zone. This fire and ice portion will only occur maybe a few times, but it won't be long until you finally have the boss down. If you are patient with your raid and pay careful attention when the boss is dropping meteors, it won't be long before you're getting your chest set pieces and doing push-ups to celebrate your glorious victory. Please like the video and share if you thought this guide was helpful, and as always, here's the fight from beginning to end. Enjoy your day.
Radio uplink available.
What you're telling me isn't possible. Tell me who just materialized in front of my eyes. Tell me who I just ejected into space.
You ejected your clone. Perhaps your clone ejected you. Does it really matter? You're still yourself. Copies of copies of copies.